morning. And although it's only about a little after 9, the city is starting to come alive right now. And we've been up since about 7:30. We got breakfast at 8. It was part of our Kumo Hotel Above the Clouds stay. And it was just your traditional Japanese breakfast, which was amazing. We are walking currently in front of the town hall. And we just went to the theater. Both really amazing places, both by Kengo Kuma. And as we check out this town, it's really just starting to wake up. That being said, we also went to the tourism bureau here, where this is definitely a sleepy little town. It wakes up late. We're walking around and people, there's onesies and twosies of people, but there's no one around. Oh yeah, and today is a holiday that nobody knows.
It's culture day.
Yeah, some sort of culture day, so maybe that's why everything's closed. But everything is pretty much closed. The only thing that was open was the mart. But whoa, look at this guy with this Airstream.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I think he's about to pass right behind us. But this is uncommon in Japan, I feel. There goes that Airstream. Yeah. But that being said, everything so far has been beautiful. This is such a pretty area. We're going to go ahead and snap this photo and get on to the next spot. There's still about 4 more spots inside the town that I wanted to see, so we'll check back in a moment here. Welcome back. We are still at the Yusuhara town, or we're still in Yusuhara, and we just walked over to the library and the YURURI Community Welfare Center. The Welfare Center and library are kind of connected. There's just a small gap in between the two buildings, but if you look at the style of the buildings, it looks like they're both one type of building. And when you then go to the library, which you're allowed to go in and walk around, it's actually really amazing. It was definitely designed by Kengo Kuma. It's the only other building here in this town that we're going to be entering. I don't know if the theater that we went into earlier was a Kengo Kuma, but I'm thinking it wasn't. It doesn't look like his design. But that being said, there is just the two buildings, the hotel and market and the library, that we're going into, that were designed by Kengo Kuma, and you can clearly see the design in both buildings. Really, really nice designs. The library is just gorgeous. What's funny is the only thing you're really not allowed to do is talk on the phone in the library. Everything else, they had a sign up that said you could talk, at a reasonable decibel with each other. You could take photos. Flash is okay. It's everything was very, very well thought out on how to get you to do stuff inside the library. And the library was really, really well designed. Interesting enough, in one corner there's a rock wall for climbing. I thought that was really weird, but awesome at the same time. And we're back at the hotel now because the car is parked right there. But yeah, they also had a really cool just lineup of books and magazines and newspapers. The community was there. Today is a holiday, like I said, so there's a whole kids area, which I didn't film any because it was just packed full of kids. And then there's a reading room on the upstairs, and that was really neat. Super quiet, well lit. There was a couple in there reading when I went, and it just looked like a real good time. We're running a little bit behind though, so I'm gonna skip over a bridge and some statues, but we're gonna go to a museum that was also designed by Kengo Kuma. It's about 2 kilometers out of the city, so we're gonna go check that out, and then we'll probably check back in at that museum. Yeah, back in a moment. Welcome back. We took a long drive up to the Shikoku karst, and it is gorgeous up here. The weather's perfect, but we did go to the Kengokuma Memorial Museum, or I don't think it's a memorial museum, thinking about it, it's just a museum, and it was amazing. Like, it's definitely of his design, and you could tell. And what I found interesting is they had videos. There are bugs all over here. They had videos of everything that he's made and like his inspiration and how Yusuhara was, where his inspiration came from, how Yusuhara actually created the ability for Kengokuma to actually get jobs worldwide. The latest one we saw was Paris, and he actually had like a huge team of like 25 people in an office there. And so he's doing a station. It's going to be the largest station in Paris, but Yusuhara and all the buildings and the museum were what he used as his marketing to get the job in Paris. And Yusuhara was just a happenstance thing for him. Meaning, he randomly was just talking to a friend who lived here in Kochi, and the friend was trying to renovate that theater that we saw earlier. I could actually throw some B-roll of the theater again. But when he went, he said it was during COVID and there was not much work for him to do. He decided, when he went, it was during a bad time in his career where he didn't have much work, so he had a lot of time on his hands. So he ended up going to Yusuhara to see the theater, and it gave him inspiration, and it also gave him something to do. So he started designing and helping out the town, and really that's how that all came to be. And that museum is just kind of like a gift back to show what he was doing, and really helped in new projects. So, you know, he did it for the town, but it actually helped him out in the end as well, which is really cool. Anyhow, we're gonna go check out the observatory and then the viewing platform, and then we'll get out of here. This place is pretty neat. Again, we're at the Shikoku karst. Back in a second. Welcome back. Just occurred to me that while I walk to the next spot, I could finish off on the Shikoku karst that we're just at. We are currently at the Hakuryu Lake, and we're walking down towards it. The big thing is that at the Shikoku karst, going back to that, was we really just did it in one way, and I hope I have some footage of it. I know I have some good drone footage. I was able to get the drone up and get some great shots of the land. I do have some pretty decent photos, I would say, of it, but because we just looked at it one way and didn't stop to take photos, when we came here, we didn't go back. So we ended up going to this place without going back to see all the other rock locations. Although, again, I do have them from the drone footage because you could fly much further. But we're here now. We're gonna go check out this lake. I think my favorite part about this lake is the fact that it has bridges that go right over it. And yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. We'll check back in a moment once I get down. Oh, I see it, so we'll check back in a moment here. Alright, so I don't know if I mentioned it just now, but Hakuryu Lake is actually a private man-made lake, and it's kind of one of the better kept secrets of Kochi. Not too many people actually come here, and everyone that we've seen here so far has been Japanese. They've made it available to the public, the owners of the lake that is, and it's just this beautiful emerald water, watering hole, as Lynn just put it. There are carp inside of the lake and beautiful bridges that you could walk over the water. You could feed the carp. Super easy. Everything here is really actually amazing. It's astounding, right, Lynn? Like, yeah, this is totally worth it. And it's only 5 minutes out from Tsuno City. So it's an easy find. It's right on the side of the road. It's actually pretty funny. Lynn's looking at their little shop that they have going. This place is pretty fantastic. Anyhow, we finished checking out the lake, walking across, and
It's more of a pond.
I'm actually, yeah, Lynn just said it's more of a pond, and I agree. Okay, but I'm actually hungry. I believe our next stop is a roadside station to get unagi. At least I'm hoping it is. Last time we stopped at a roadside station, everything was closed because they don't have enough people in the town. So to man it, they close on Wednesdays and Thursdays every week. And I think I mentioned that in the video of that day. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping we get to eat some unagi. That would be amazing. Anyhow, we will check back in a moment. And we'll see you in a sec. Welcome back. We are at the Michino Eki. Shimanto, I believe is this one. Unfortunately, we made it here at 3:08. They stopped serving food at 3 o'clock. And so Lynn and I had to get ice cream instead. I got a chestnut and Lynn got a vanilla. I didn't take any footage of it because I was hungry, so I just took a photo of it real quick. I'll throw that up, and then I ate it. This is one of the smaller Michino Ekis. I don't blame them for closing early. Even like the kitchen closes at 3 is what she said, but the place actually closes at 5 o'clock. So I thought we had like 2 hours to eat still. She probably just wants to get out of here because looking at the place, she's probably the only one, or the 2 workers in there are probably the only 2 workers that do this entire rest stop. And so I'm thinking maybe if I didn't stop to get gas, but I was literally out of gas, I probably could have made it, but it is what it is, and I'm okay with it. Use the restroom. The buildings are nice and newish. We walked into the actual tourist area and got our stamps and our notebooks. And now it's on to the submersible bridge. At least I hope we can make it there. It's about an hour's away, so we're not going to spend all too much time here. It looks like this place has like adrenaline junkie stuff. Like there was photos for like zip lining and kayaking and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go too much into it because we're not staying here for all that long. Anyhow, we will check back here in a moment. Welcome back, and we are currently in our hotel. Admittedly, I could have actually shot the exterior of this shot prior to coming up here, but because we got here during the day. But what we did was we checked in and then immediately went to go to the I apologize. No, we immediately came here and then went to the submersible bridge, the Ima-Sada submersible bridge. And I didn't get any A-roll there because everything was about the B-roll at that point. We were losing light fast because I didn't trust Google on the way back here. It did something weird where it made me go like 3 miles in the wrong direction to make a U-turn in order to get back to the main road. So instead of using Google and going to the submersible bridge because it wasn't coming up in the Japanese navigation system, I just used the Japanese navigation system to navigate to the hotel. But after getting to the hotel, we didn't even stop here. We just continued on to the bridge. But it meant, since the bridge was actually before the hotel from the direction we came, meant that we had to backtrack. So we actually got to the bridge at about 5 o'clock, and I had about 20 minutes of sunlight left. It's like sunset was like at 12 or 17 or something like that, and then I knew I had a little bit of wiggle room with blue hour. So we ended up taking tons of footage. I was able to get the drone in the air and film around. The bridge is interesting. I mean, it's, as Lynn put it, it's kind of like a boring attraction.
Pretty mundane.
Yeah, a mundane attraction. There's not much to it. She actually described it as like the mundane or cosplay or Halloween costumes that you see, where it's like some guy who's like pretending that he's standing on a train or something like that, or maybe he's some dude with a flat beer. But that all being said, it was neat to see, and I was able to actually drive across it, and Lynn has a photo of me doing that. So I might actually be able to just throw the photo up. All the footage that you see of cars driving over, like the Porsche or whatnot, we did not rent a Porsche. That was just me flying the drone while a car was coming by, and I just took advantage of the fact that we could have somebody driving and I could fly the drone with no worries. Overall, it was exactly like I thought it would be. I kind of wish that we got there a little earlier. It would have been a little different during the bright light, I think, but we were able to pull it off just fine, and I'm not going to do that tomorrow morning as I was planning. We're just going to go straight to our first event tomorrow, which is, I think, like an hour drive, I think, away from here. So after the bridge, we came back to the hotel, and we finally checked in. We were going to ask the hotel person, the front desk guy, if there was any restaurants that he would recommend in the area, because we technically didn't really eat anything today. We went to the roadside stop, and unfortunately they were closed at 3, or their kitchen closed at 3, even though they closed at 5. And so we ended up just moving on, and we only got the ice cream there, as mentioned before. So I noticed that there was a McDonald's on the way to the bridge. I told Lynn to just put that in a nav, let's go to McDonald's. And what we ended up doing is, on the way to McDonald's, we passed a local ramen shop and ate skia. And so we went and parked in their shared parking lot. And then we had the debate of whether we wanted ramen or a rice bowl. And so after a toss-up, it came down to my choice. And I was like, well, I'd rather have ramen, particularly because this is ramen from this area. And we headed on in. Lynn got this chicken-based ramen, and I got the tonkotsu, which was a shoyu tonkotsu ramen. And yeah, that's actually very different. I'm not used to seeing that. I wonder if that's just how it's typically made and they just call it differently here. But we also got the package deal for my meal. So it also came with fried rice and pot stickers, in which that meal was only like $13 for the two of us, which is crazy. Like, that amount of food. And when it came out, Lynn and I just started digging in, and admittedly, Lynn's was like an 8.5 out of 10. Like, it was really good. And mine was like a 6 out of 10. It was just meh. Like, I feel like the flavors on mine didn't really come out, and I really had to, like, I put the fried garlic in mine, some pepper, some chili paste. Like, I tried to doctor mine up to get a little bit more flavor out of it. I'm used to mine being a lot saltier. I guess that's the big thing, and it was just not.
Mine was salty, but it was...
Yeah, Lynn's was, like, the perfect saltiness, and it actually went really well with the fried rice, which, again, that was a little on the plainer side, but adding the ryu, the like chili oil that was in-house made, was really nice. And then the pot stickers, we had the pot sticker sauce with the vinegar and a little bit of ryu in that as well. Lynn found out that she's not the biggest fan of Japanese gyoza. She just used the Chinese guotia instead. And I, on the other hand, don't really care if it's the Chinese version or the Japanese version of a pot sticker, or a Korean version of a pot sticker, or pierogies, which I figure are like the Polish version of a potsticker. They're all good. And so, yeah, it's I thought the meal was fantastic. Lynn actually really enjoyed her meal too. It's the first time I've seen her completely kill the bowl and all the soup. I actually left some of the soup. It wasn't worth drinking. Yeah, so Lynn did really well with that. And then for giggles, we went over to McDonald's anyways to get dessert, which I got an orange iced latte and Lynn got a melon soda. And then we tried a choco pie. Lynn said that the choco pie was meh, but I thought it was really, really good myself. I thought it was the perfect amount of sweetness, I think is the best way to put that. And then finishing up, there's actually no footage from the McDonald's. Maybe I got some photos, but yeah, there was no. But what's the point, right? It's McDonald's. It's the same. I will note that Lynn noticed they had a kids adventure for McDonald's, which was pretty cool. Which is like you could send your kid to come experience what it's like to work at McDonald's, which is like a different world for us because here in Japan they actually respect people who work at McDonald's, whereas in America we kind of look down upon them, I feel. But respect might be a strong term. More along the lines of they don't look down upon them. That it's a respectable job, and like many kids want to actually do it, which is pretty cool. Many adults don't mind working.
Also seems fun.
McDonald's.
I mean,
Yeah. It's that team spirit probably.
American
Yeah.
Food.
I guess technically they are working for a foreign entity, although it is, I'm pretty sure McDonald's is a Japanese company here in Japan. Like there's a McDonald's holding, I'm sure. But I digress. After that, we went over to Sunny Mart to refill on all the bread. I don't know what the next couple of days is going to look like for food. We're going to be going out to some pretty remote places. I'm pretty excited to go to a lot of these areas. They are different and unique, and in that sense, I'm excited to go. We walked into that Sunny Mart expecting just to replace bread, and we ended up going and shopping around, and it's really interesting to see. Like, I love going to supermarkets in other countries because it's just so different every time, and we were able to kind of see all these different snacks, all these different like ways of selling meat. Their butcher in the back, that was neat. I'm going through and seeing their pre-made food, so stuff that's ready to be taken home, like the gyoza. They had pre-packaged so that you could just take home and make or cook, right? Just put in the pan. Yeah, they had pre-made tonkatsu, which all you have to do, it's like, and it's not like the packaged stuff that you see at like mass market places where it's like something made out of a machine. These are all like, I mean, it might still be machine made, but they're actually hand packaged, or it looks like that. It looks like a package of meat that you'd buy from the market. Like if you bought steak from Safeway, it would look like that. And it was just tonkatsu, like breaded meat. Yeah, and it was also a place where Lynn was able to kind of go look at like stationery and feminine hygiene products, because that's different here, and like shampoos and stuff like that as well. So beauty products. Which was all interesting, and I'm happy to find out that Lynn has the same interest in Japanese stationery as I do, and I hope that we'll be able to hit up like an actual stationery store and go through. One of the killer things that Lynn found was the stapler that doesn't use staples. It like folds the paper in to hold everything together, and she was tickled by that. But I think that's actually a fantastic like piece for anyone's like stationery kit. And well, we're making this video long, and I'm gonna go ahead and take a shower and get ready for bed here, although it is a little bit early. It's just 9 o'clock, so we got in early and we're getting out tomorrow a little early. We do have breakfast with this place, so I mean, at $60, 2 beds, breakfast for 2 people, solid. I thought it ends at 9. Yeah, last serving is at 8:45. It's fine. But we'll figure that out in the morning. I think wake up call is gonna be 7:30 again. So, but yeah, we'll check back in the next video in the morning. Anyhow, good night. And before I go to bed, I should probably do a room tour. So let's go ahead and get this room tour started. Alright, so there's the hotel. We are on the 6th floor. Looks like they're pretty packed again. The parking lot is filled. We are in room 618. And it's not much of a room, but you have to imagine this is only like $60 for the night for the two of us. And there's actually a Cento downstairs that we could go use if we wanted to. But to start, this is our closet. It is missing the door, but at least has the hangers. I wouldn't trust to put anything up there. I think it would be dusty. And then there is the shoe cleaner, shoehorn, slippers if you want them. And then over here, standard toilet. So we have the sink mixed with the shower head again. And gotta be careful because this is somewhat of a wet room. That's actually a drain underneath this sink right here, if you didn't know. When I lived in Japan, the dorm was just like this. This is actually a little bit bigger than my dorm rooms, so it's not bad. Oh, and if
Did you use the wet room as a wet room?
yeah. And then that is the toilet handle for the toilet, even though it's not connected to the toilet. It's pretty weird. The Kumo is actually in there. But that is the toilet. And then this is the room. Lynn has one bed. I have the other bed. This is our desk and the fridge, which is adorable. Like, super adorable. Barely fits our tea in there. But yeah, that is pretty much the room. We do have an AC unit. That one's in the wall, or in the ceiling though, which is pretty interesting. And then if we come over to my bed, and I know I mentioned it earlier, but we did get here before it was dark. So, but this is the outside. I don't know if there's a better way of doing that, yeah. So that's another hotel right next to us, and then our car is the one that's sticking out a little bit further from the wall than the others because we're actually parked right in front of a big ass pole. So that is pretty much the room. So let's go ahead and get back to the normal thing or normal shooting of me, and we'll finish off the night. So as you can see, pretty simple room, nothing much to write home about. It's good enough. We're just here to sleep. So that being said, let's go ahead and end it. I'll see you in the morning. Good night.